Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Let's face it, Warzone has improved quite a bit over the course of the past couple of months. The Pacific launch definitely did not go smooth, but that's not to say Warzone still does not have several issues. And something I find to be a little bit interesting is the fact that we've got the Warzone Trello board, which is actively talking about several issues as they arise, things that Raven is working on getting fixed, updated, changed, whatever the case may be. However, the Trello board never has covered all the issues in the game, and right now it's actually missing several pretty pressing issues, I would say. And today I wanted to focus on those issues that we know are in the game that several of you have brought up in multiple videos, in the comments, over on Twitter, in the Discord, wherever it may be. Issues that they really haven't addressed that absolutely need to be fixed. As we break all this down, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. Really does help grow the channel. And you never know, by sharing the video, we could hopefully reach Raven, Activision, Call of Duty. And if someone there actually sees this video, ideally we can help get these things fixed quicker. And of course, if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD, news, updates, loadouts, tips. You'll find it all right here. So be sure to subscribe with those notifications turned on. Also want to give a quick shout out to one of my partners, Scuff. I've been using Scuff controllers for so long at this point. Basically every generation. Xbox 360, we had the hybrid, moved on to PlayStation 4, now we got the Impact. Now here we are on current gen with the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, and they got the best controllers for any platform that you're on. If you ever want to get a new controller for yourself, Code Immortal has you covered with a spicy little discount. Anyway, let's talk the issues that Raven has not addressed on the Trello board. Keep in mind, I do record these videos a couple of days in advance, and it's very possible that we could see a random update go live later on this week from the time that I'm recording this, and it could fix a few of these things. Ideally, it does. You know, I'd love to be able to post this video in a couple of days and get comments saying, hey, that was fixed, you know, with yesterday's update. That'd be great. But as of right now, there is no word about these issues on the Trello board, on Raven's Twitter, or anywhere else. Console performance, first and foremost. What I find especially weird about this is the fact that this was on the Trello board prior to Season 2. Then the Season 2 update came out. It definitely did improve some performance on console to a certain extent, but it did not completely solve the issue between PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S. They all still have plenty of problems. Not being able to load into games, the game force restarting your console, essentially crashing your whole console. You get an infinite black screen unless you go in and reboot. Not having 120 hertz on Xbox, which is more of a Microsoft issue than it is a Raven issue, as we've talked about before. But all these issues that are currently causing the largest player base on the game to not be able to actually experience the game to its fullest. I'm still baffled at how bad console performs compared to what it was before because of the whole Pacific update. We've just seen things really go downhill, which is unfortunate. And like I said, that's the largest player base. So these things have to get sorted soon, because on the daily, the game is losing players. That's not healthy for business. That's not healthy for the game. Console performance and stability needs to be a top priority, and we hopefully should see some fixes for this in the coming weeks. Mid-season updates right around the corner. We should ideally have some big updates and big fixes coming with that. Now, not every issue is as major as the console performance stuff is. There's also issues right now with the Cooper 60-round mag, the 9mm ammo. It doesn't work if you're using the Armored Titan blueprint and the Armored Titan skin. It only caps out as a 30-round mag, which obviously completely breaks the gun in a lot of cases. That's an issue that's been around for several weeks at this point, I believe. Still no fix for that that's been mentioned. Again, could happen in the days in between when I'm recording this and posting this video, but that's still breaking the Cooper in a lot of ways and ruining a blueprint, and also, you know, really severely limiting it as a gun with any possible potential. Another issue that's just recently sort of surfaced is vehicles being, I guess, accidentally stealth buffed, and they don't take damage that they should against things like C4 and rockets and even gunfire sometimes. It's like these vehicles are 3, 4, 5 times stronger than they were before. You used to be able to one hit like an SUV with a C4, and that's, you know, a cheeky little kill that you can get, and people won't always expect it because C4 is not super popular anymore. Now, though, you can throw a C4, and it's like you just threw a piece of bread at them. It doesn't do anything, right? So that's another pretty big issue. We also got to talk about parachuting, because, man, when I was talking to the devs prior to Season 2, when they told us that they were fixing the parachute mechanics and making it more versatile and more open to player control, I was so excited. I was like, yes, the parachutes have sucked for so long. And then the update came out, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if parachuting got any better. I like that you can pull your chute out at some lower heights at times, But now there's issues where you're pulling out your parachute when you're jumping off of a hay bale. Sometimes when you're jumping around a corner, like trying to bee hop, your parachute gets taken out. You can be like 3 meters off the ground and it'll force the parachute animation, which is basically a free trip to the gulag at that point, which is just so annoying. And sort of coinciding with that, but also being its own issue outright, is not being able to cut your parachute when you're in a completely safe height to cut a parachute at. You know, you could be 3 meters above the ground and it'll force take your parachute out, but then you can't cut it right away. You could be floating down from the top of peak and be 7 meters above a rooftop, and you could easily cut your parachute there. You don't got to worry about breaking any ankies or anything like that, but it doesn't let you cut. And then you're just in this slow descent to the ground, basically a sitting duck waiting for an enemy to just fry you while you can't cut your chute. Parachuting definitely needs some big updates and some big fixes. Moving on, an issue that's been a reoccurring problem really all throughout Warzone's history is packet burst. Constantly getting these in-game hitches, frame drops, and lag spikes where it just costs you gunfights. Ultimately is like the I guess the easiest way to put that. Packet burst is no stranger to really any player. Doesn't matter if you have insane internet, awful internet, what console you're playing on, or what platform in general. Packet burst has been an issue for a while. I don't think we'll ever fully see this fixed, but I would love to see some improvements for that. An issue that seems to be on again, off again as well is Cold War guns not unlocking despite your level far exceeding the requirement for a Cold War gun. I've had plenty of comments saying, yeah, this is fixed entirely. All my Cold War guns are good now. I've had comments saying, well, a third of my Cold War guns unlocked. And I've had comments saying none of my Cold War guns are unlocked, despite them saying that this has been fixed. It was on the Trello before, just like the console issues, but was taken off. But it is definitely not fully fixed. So that's another one that certainly needs some attention. Another smaller problem, you can't go in through Warzone and unlock some of the Vanguard reticles. There are definitely some better reticle options this year when it comes to like the crosshair dot and these more precise reticles you can use on some of your long range scopes to make it easier to spot, trace, and track players. But you have to own Vanguard to get them, which for me, it's not worth it paying $60 for a game to get a couple of reticles. It's annoying to have to use the base ones, but that's far too much of a price point for some simple reticles. You should just be able to unlock them in Warzone itself. Then something we always like to joke about whenever we're covering patch notes on the channel is how every single time there's patch notes, they update the exploitable areas and collision issues on Caldera, right? Well, something that's never really mentioned in the patch notes that I feel like should be mentioned more is updates to visibility. Let's be real, there's so many bushes and shrubs and trees, it's hard to spot players on this map. It was not a great thing back on Verdansk, visibility was. It's really not any better here on Caldera. Yeah, it's a little bit brighter, more vibrant, but you still can't see players half the time, which is a very frustrating thing to run into, especially if you're on console where the game is glitching out and looks like you're playing Roblox sometimes. It's not an ideal situation whatsoever, so hopefully we can see some big improvements to visibility as well. Now, I've got a couple more things to close out this video. I'm sure I'm not going to mention every single little issue in this game. If you guys have things that you run into in game that I don't mention in this video, feel free to comment them down below. You never know, like I said earlier, if Raven, if Activision, if Call of Duty, anyone from there is watching this video, perhaps they check out some comments and we can help make the game a better experience in general. But this is one that I'm not sure if they'll ever actually change, but it shouldn't be this way. Blueprints not looking like the blueprint you bought once you change the attachments. There's so many cool blueprints, but honestly, I just don't feel like they're worth it half the time because they have a ridiculous build on it where you're using a bad muzzle, a bad barrel, a stupid magazine. It's not meta at all. And then you go to change it to the meta attachments and suddenly the gun doesn't even look like the blueprint that you bought, which is super unfortunate. Then finally, another small one, the Vargo 52 reload. This was supposed to be fixed last week. They said they updated it in the patch notes. It's not fully fixed. I think they fixed it for a couple of the magazines, but in general, the whole reload cancel and the reload timing is still broken. It essentially just forces you to come to a complete stop for a few seconds to reload, which is not practical or how it should be. So ideally, we see some changes for that as well. That said, those are all the things that I could think of off the top of my head that we really haven't heard much about from the Trello, from any socials or anything like that. So hopefully this video can help get some of these things fixed. Like I said earlier, feel free to drop a like on it, share it around. It helps the video get out there. And if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, feel free to hit that sub button, turn on those post notifications. That way you can always stay up to date with everything going on in COD. And as always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, and Control Freak products. And the links for all those can be found down in the description below. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.